All right, Shalom. This is your brother Shamar from the Phoenix Camp. And with that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakadash. Double honor to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work in truth and sincerity. I'm jumping right into the scripture. This is 1 Corinthians 9 and 20, 24. And it says, Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receives a prize? So run that ye may obtain. Let's get that word run. It says to run, a person in haste, those who run in a race course, metaphoric of doctrine rapidly propagated by metaphor taken from runners in race to exert oneself, strive hard. So that's what it is, man. To exert oneself, to strive hard. Because this goes into commitment. This goes into dedication. This goes into all mind, all spirit, all body. What does the scripture say? Thou shalt love the Lord thy heart with all thy soul, with all thy mind. I'm going to go ahead and get that, man. See if I can find it. This is Mark 12:30. It says, in the words of Yahweh Shai, it says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. You see that, man? You see how it's a total commitment. It's a total dedication. It's a total exertion of your force. Run that back again. And thou shalt love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is likely, namely, this shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So the word all is used 1, 2, 3, 4 times, man. 4 times. Let's get the word all right here in this scripture. It says completely. Completely. What does that remind you of? Romans 12:1. The reasonable sacrifice, man. I'm gonna run that back again. It says, know ye not that they which run in race run all? So you've got that word run, and we're said to exert force, but one receiveth the prize of run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth, let's get the word competes for the prize. Let's get the word let's get the word strive. The word strive means to exert, man, to exert yourself. For the mastery is and everyone that strives for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Because the world, their goals and their mindset is toward the achievement of things in this world, to be successful in this world. The so-called American dream. To have the riches, to have the luxuries, the comforts that go along with giving yourself to this world, to giving yourself wholly to this world. Because if you want to attain those things, you have to give yourself wholly to the pursuit of them. The examples, perfect examples, like the others always bring out, these high level athletes. These high level athletes, whether it be basketball, football, whatever, they are totally committed to their craft, so to speak, to their sport. They're committed to their nutrition. They're committed to their fitness. They're committed to their mental well-being. Their mind is focused on the game. They're committed to knowing plays. They're committed to knowing different tactics that help them succeed and win in their individual sport. They're totally committed, and all the decisions that they make, it is to contribute to that success. So basically, we have to do the same thing, as men of this truth, to give all. So every decision that we make has to be for the contribution of furtherment in this truth. The contribution if it doesn't contribute to the furtherment of this truth, then it's worthless. That's what it says. That's what the scripture says. So run that you may obtain. So put forth that effort that you may obtain. And what are we going to obtain? We're going to obtain a prize, man. We're going to obtain a reward. And part of that prize and part of that reward is going to be mercy, man. But basically the point of the lesson is 100% commitment, 100% dedication is the bare minimum in the eyes of the Lord. Like we just read, man. And run that back again. Let's see that in it. see if I can find it. Yeah, it's right here. Mark 12:30 once again. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord with thy power, with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind, with all thy strength. So heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's everything. Basically everything you got, man. Everything you got to be in obedience to the Lord. That's what the word love means. Obedience. Because that scripture says, you love me, keep my commandments. So our whole being has got to be our whole being has got to be focused in serving the Lord and obeying the Lord. That's how you run to obtain the prize. This is how it's done. You have to exert yourself in this truth. You have to put forth a continuous effort. You know, I always bring up the fact that every day that you wake up in this truth, you have obligations to fulfill to the Most High. You have things that you owe Him. Because when we cross a line, we made a vow. And what does it say in the book of Proverbs, the book of Ecclesiastes? It means it says when thou vowest a vow unto the Lord. I'm going to get it. Vowest. This is Deuteronomy 5 and 4. It said, when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it. Let's get the word defer. Delay not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay that which is thou vowed. So when we came into the truth, we vowed to serve the Most High. We vowed to be that reasonable sacrifice. We vowed to obey the Most High with all our heart, soul, mind, and all our power and strength. Like we read in the book of Mark. Say, when thou vowest a vow unto the Lord, it's like when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. So if you open your mouth and you said that you were going to be part of this ministry, that you're going to put your hands to the plow, and then you get faint-hearted, or you want to go back into the world, the Lord looks at you as a fool, man. And those men are usually mocked. They're usually laughed at. And that's scary too, man. That's scary too. Because why are those men mocked? Why are those men laughed at? Because they've proven to everybody that they have no integrity and that they have no accountability. And those are two key things that make you a man. Integrity and accountability are two key things, or the two key ingredients that make a man a man. When you really stop and think about it. If you have no integrity, if you have no accountability, then you're a child. So the Lord wants men. You know, in the Marine Corps, they got a saying, old saying, that said, looking for a few good men. Basically, what they mean, are men of integrity and accountability. You know, and that's the scriptures. You know, the Lord has no pleasure in fools, man. Pay what thou vowed. Owe up. You good. Yeah, you got to pay, man. Obligations. That's we spoke about obligations. You know, and obligations is basically payment. Let's get the definition for the word obligation. So this is the word obligation in the Webster's 1828. Yeah, con. It says the binding power of a vow, promise, oath, or contract. Vow. We spoke about vows in Ecclesiastes. It says the binding power of a vow, a promise, oath, or contract. So we came to the truth. We made a promise. We made a contract. We made a covenant with the Most High. Political or moral. We made a moral covenant, a moral contract, a moral oath, a moral promise, a moral vow to the Most High to serve Him, independent of a promise that which constitutes legal moral duty and which renders a person liable to coercion and punishment for neglecting it. Be looked at as a fool. The laws and commands of Yahweh impose on us an obligation to love Him supremely. Then we read about that in Mark. The laws and commands of Yahweh impose on us an obligation to love Him supremely Our neighbor as ourselves. That was Mark. Every citizen is under an obligation to obey the laws of the state. Moral obligation binds men without promise or contract. Uh, Definition 3. An act by which a person becomes bound to do something to or for another to forbear something. So, that goes perfectly with that scripture right there, man. This definition. Let's go back to the scriptures and run that back again. It says, Ecclesiastes 5:4, when thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it, for he has no pleasure in food paid which thou hast vowed. So that payment's going to require total commitment, total dedication to your profession. We brought up the example of the athletes. There's total dedication, commitment to profession to succeed in that chosen profession that they have. So we're gonna get a I think it's Philippians or Philemon, I'm not sure. I think it's Philippians. Philippians, the third chapter. Let's see here. Salakia, this is it. Philippians 3 and 13. Salakia. It says, brethren, I count not myself to apprehended. Let's get the word apprehended. They hold on it, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth for those things which are before. So this is what Paul did. It says forgetting. So part of that total commitment, part of that total dedication, part of that mindset of that all be having that all personality, that all mindset, all their heart, all their soul, all their mind, all their strength, is forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. So forgetting those things that are behind, that's your old man in the world. And that can even be your woman and your children. That could be your old livelihood. That could be your old that could be talents that you had in the world that brought you success. That could be a jobs, possessions. That could be anything. It's gonna be different for each man's individual law. It says forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which before. So what's before us? Before us is His work, man. Before us is the hope of reward, the hope of grace, the hope of mercy. That's what we have to reach forward for. Reaching forth. Let's get that word forth. Forward. I press toward the hard mark. Let's get the word press. It says to make run or flee, to put flight, to drive away, to run swiftly in order to catch a person or thing, to press on, a figurative one who in a race runs swiftly to reach the goal. Definition 5, metaphoric, to pursue, to seek after, eagerly, earnestly endeavor to acquire that effort, man, that all spirit. It says, I press toward the mark for the prize of high calling of Yahweh Meshach Yahushai. I press toward the mark. Let's get the word mark. The goal for the prize of high calling in Yahweh Meshach Yahushai. Upward calling, man. So this is what we're involved in. We're involved in the race to press forward for the reward, man. Paul, there's a lot of verses where Paul uses that metaphor of a race, to liken it to this truth, liken it to the walk. And when you're in a race, you're constantly exerting yourself. You're not just having a stroll in the park, man. You're humping, bro. You're doing it. When you're in the military, I just bring these examples up because they just come to my mind. Uh, you have to do what they call humps or forced marches, where you have a 100-pound pack on your back, and you gotta keep on walking, man, towards the end of the march. It could be 10 miles, it could be 15, 25 miles, man. And every step is constant effort, man. Every step, and it has an exertion upon yourself. You're gonna feel it in your legs, your ankles, your back, shoulders. It's gonna drain you. It's gonna fatigue you. But you got to keep on pressing on. You got to keep on exerting yourself, man. And this is Paul's liking it to pretty much the same thing. They're pressing on. They're pressing forward. And that's how you gotta deal with this truth. You gotta deal with it as a job, man. Not just any job, a hard job. This is a hard job. Paul always say like this is gonna be the one of the hardest things you've done in your life, because not every man is able to fulfill the obligations. Not every man has that spirit in him to fulfill the obligations. You know, to press towards a hard mark. There's men that get faint-hearted. You know, and there's scriptures that said about talking about men that get faint-hearted. I'm going to go ahead and get it. This is Sirach 2 and I'll start at verse 12. It says, "Woe be to fearful hearts, fearful minds." And what makes you fearful? Because you're afraid of losing. So, sometimes you're afraid of losing things that make you fearful. You're afraid. You're afraid of losing things. You're afraid of sacrificing things. You're afraid of missing down on things. Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands. What's a faint hand? A hand that's not fully committed to doing this work. And the sinner that goes two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, faint-minded. For he believeth not, therefore he should not be defended. That's going to happen to those men that are giving a half-assed effort. Lukewarm. She was talking about being lukewarm. That's the same thing as being lukewarm. What happens to the lukewarm men? In the book of Revelation, they're spewed out the mouth of Yahweh Shai. They're casted out, man. Men have been casted out for those reasons. For not putting forth the required effort, for not fulfilling the required obligation that was given to them. Like I said, man, every day you wake up in this truth, you have obligations to fulfill to the Most High and to the brotherhood and to the truth, to the work. It doesn't just stop and start on Saturdays. It doesn't just stop and start when the camera's rolling. It's a constant, everyday, minute by minute effort. And that's how you should look at it, man. But basically, that's the point. I don't want to make this too long. I think I had a few more scriptures, but I think that'll do it, man. And the point of the lesson is just, hey, man, this is not a plaything. This is a serious-minded work that we're in, and it must be treated as such. With that being said, it's a real quick lesson. Most I will and hope it was edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Kahala Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Brothers, keep on pushing. Shalom.